It's interesting that we can have so much corruption in this world. In the black community, we have drug dealers. We have pedophiles. And I'm speaking pedophiles in individual households where the single parent mother allows her boyfriend to stay in the same house over her children. At one point in time, we used to be concerned about the little girls in the home, the mother allowing the boyfriends to stay in the house with her and her daughters. But in today's time, we're now concerned about the little boys that's being preyed upon and molested by the mother's boyfriend, or by the uncle, or by the stepfather, and in some cases, even their own biological father. We have a problem in the black community where, for whatever reason, fathers are not sticking around to take care of their children. They're not concerned about the safety and well-being or welfare of their children. But they have so much zeal and protest in them against someone like R. Kelly or someone like Bill Cosby. Anyone that is not white. The white men go unscathed or untouched, like Harry Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. It's crazy because there's always one person that want to comment a video. Now, I made that video titled Black Negative Stereotype, and I was talking about black on black attacks and how it's so easy for black people to attack black people when they think black people are on top, or they think black people has gotten too much. In other words, you think you're better than me type of mentality. So they do everything in their power to try to destroy anyone that appears to be doing better than them. But when it comes to the real issues in the black community, now pay close attention because I'm using examples, but don't just target what I'm saying. You know, look at the bigger picture, because some people, like this clown, commented that video on my channel, I'm Just Thinking Out Loud, and he says to me, so you're saying we gotta protect the predator? And I'm thinking, like, you missed the whole point of the video. And I almost guarantee you this individual did not listen to the whole of the video. He just heard me saying that black people are quick to attack black people quicker than they're willing to attack any other race. It's like, how can you judge R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and now they're after Chris Brown? How could you judge people like that when you don't even take care of your own home? You have children that you sit back and watch being destroyed in the streets. You sit back and watch the women of your children suffer and struggle, raising those children alone and by herself, and you say nothing. The only thing you can do is sit back and criticize that single parent mom that's struggling to raise and support your children. But yet, when that child grows up and get a decent job or look like they have some type of income, now you want to creep back into this child's life and talk about, I'm the daddy. So it's sad to me that black people ignore the real issues in their own community, but they concern themselves with people that have nothing to do with them, people they don't even know. Governor Cuomo just signed, and I'm gonna make a separate video on this. He just signed into law that it's okay to abort, and I'm trying to be nice with them, but you can't be nice with it. He signed into law that it's okay to murder your child even up to full term. So an hour before that child is born, that female's got the right to abort that child, to terminate that pregnancy, to kill or murder the baby in her womb. And black people are sitting idly by, allowing it to happen. Black females were there with Cuomo, standing behind Cuomo when he signed that into law. You're in support of that. My heart goes out to all of these unborn children that are murdered from the womb for no reason at all. That's in the law. That it's okay to murder these children because it's their right, it's their body, they do what they want with their bodies. So it's okay to murder children from the womb and not have any type of legal repercussions against you. But yet, you're so adamant and concerned about what R. Kelly did years ago. You're concerned about what that man is doing in his life, talking about protecting predators, and many of y'all are predators yourselves. You just weren't caught. There are a number of dudes, black males, that have raped black women and gotten away with it because they did not report it. And some of y'all, many of y'all, know about those rapes. You are aware of that rape. But you have this no snitch policy. You can watch a murder take place in your communities, and when you're questioned by law enforcement that has the power to do something about it, you don't talk to police. You don't snitch. But yet you're concerned about R. Kelly. You want to see the downfall of R. Kelly and other black entertainers. White people aren't doing this. You're doing this. And my point was, they are capitalizing off of the hate that you have for each other. And they're going to continue to capitalize off of the hate. That abortion bill that Cuomo just signed is not for white people. Yes, there's going to be white females that's going to take advantage of that. But they're looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is black females are aborting their children more than any other race of women. And if you want to try to argue me about that point, they had to put up a billboard saying the most dangerous place for a black child is in the womb of his black mother. They never said that about any other race of women. But they said that about black women. And now you have many of these clowns, these so-called black males, that's on the bandwagon of murdering your children, your unborn children. And I don't hear any of y'all talking about the children that are alive, that were born, where black females are killing their kids, or black males are molesting their kids. We don't talk about that, but you want to attack people like R. Kelly. I'm not saying protect them. If he did wrong, then the law of reciprocal action is going to take course. What's coming to them will come to them. Doesn't need your help. You should be concerned about your own household. And like the scripture I quoted, that any man that can't take care of his own house is worse than an infidel. And many of y'all claim to be so righteous in religion or religious, but even in your own homes you allow stuff to happen. There are countless number of women, and I hadn't even mentioned the dudes, countless number of women that were molested, and they reported it to their mother, and their mother turned on them and said it was your fault that you did that, or you're lying, because they were afraid to lose their boyfriend. You're lying, he didn't do that to you. So this young lady had to live her life, man, with that bottled up inside of her because of what a living boyfriend or a stepfather did to her. And no one believed her. Yes, it's easy to look at the man and say it's the man's fault, and he's no good, and he's an animal, or he's a beast, or he's a monster. But what about that mother that allowed it to happen? Sat back and watched it happen. I was talking to a young lady not too long ago, and she was telling me about her mom's had like a party in the house, you know, how they put the kids to bed. When I was growing up, they put the kids to bed, you know, and then the adults would have their little gatherings in the house. They have the music playing, food, whatever. Well, this young lady tells me that her mother actually saw this man touch her inappropriately and said nothing. Said nothing. Nobody, there's people that saw it, but no one did anything about it. They sat back and watched. They watched it happen. And there are so many young ladies and even young males that go through that. Of course, the young boys aren't going to say nothing in most cases, because men are always taught to be men. If a guy is molested or touched inappropriate, guys usually don't say nothing, man, because at one point in time, and even today, they will be teased. So it's like, what? You was raped by a woman, so what's the problem? A woman gave you sex, what's the problem? So you have a lot of guys that don't even report it. Now, according to R. Kelly, he was sexually molested. Now, if he was a white woman school teacher, or just a woman school teacher, and he said and he molests little boys, and then he say, well, the reason why I did it is because I was molested. You have a community of women or females and even males that would sit there and sympathize or empathize with that female. Well, hurt people hurt people. So now she's given a pass because she says, I was molested. And she shed a few tears. But what about the young boys that she molested? She get away with it, or she get a light sentence? A man come out and said, well, I molested because I was molested. He loses his life in everything that he worked for. And they will go back in time. I don't know of any case where they went back in time for a female. And maybe because of the fact that guys don't fight for that. There's many dudes out there that were touched by a female or by a male when they were growing up. But you never really hear them talk about it. You're starting to hear more guys come out and say things happen to them. But there's a whole lot more. And people are not focusing on them. Although they're trying to claim Me Too, it doesn't really apply to them. Of course, they would use these men to promote their own agenda. But they care nothing about these men that's coming forward saying that I was touched or I was abused or I was molested. These guys still get teased. So my point is, like, you have places like Lifetime Television that's capitalizing off of the ignorance, the foolishness, the hatred that black people have for each other. And then you got this clown that's gonna comment and says, so you're saying we protect predators? No, I didn't say that. I never said that. That's what you said. Because more than likely, that's the predator himself. He's also a predator, or he was a predator, or he have children out there that he don't care for. But Chris Brown, R. Kelly, and these celebrities are easy targets. It takes the focus and attention off of you and what you've done and what you're still doing. No one out there that's pointing fingers at R. Kelly. Your hands are not clean. Now, Taraji P. Henson kind of spoke out against it because she was comparing like the fact that, you know, everybody's trying to mute R. Kelly, but nobody's, you know, protesting and trying to mute Harry Weinstein or Kevin Spacey. Nobody's trying to mute them. And you had black females and black males that came at her so strong. She not only took that post down, but she joined the crowd. Yeah, he should get what's coming to him. So I'm like, wait a minute, because you were bullied, you folded that easy? Because she was gang stalked for having an opinion? And now you have this clown that's either gay. Now, people, they accept homosexuality, they accept transgenderism, they're like supporting calling a man a she or a her, but yet you violated the universal laws. What does God have to say about that? Oh wait, you don't believe in God. You don't accept God. You find every excuse not to accept God, the Bible, church, or what have you, because you don't want to give up your mess. You're not right. But yet you have the audacity to point fingers at R. Kelly or Chris Brown. Even in Paris, they're sitting back watching what Americans do to Americans, and they're now doing it in other countries. Chris Brown goes to Paris and now he's held because a female lied and said that he raped her. They end up letting the man go. So we have so many cases now where men have to really be careful. We have to train our sons to be careful and not be quick to trust these females. Not be so quick to lay down with her. Because women now, I guess they feel so free that they can just take their clothes off. Going on Instagram and Facebook is like being on a porn site. I have to watch myself now. When I get ready to go on Instagram, I have to make sure that there's nobody standing around me, because there's no telling what might pop up when I go on Instagram, because I'll click on Instagram, next thing you know, this big butt with cellulite is in my face, and you got somebody standing behind you. One lady one time asked me, and I got on Facebook, on Instagram, and this naked female came up, had her legs wide open, and this woman says, "What, you watching porn?" I said, "No, this is Instagram." And I had to quickly close that out. She thought it was a porn site. I said, "It's Instagram." I showed her, it's Instagram. And when I scrolled it, all you see is these females, black females, white females, taking their clothes off. But if a man says something, then he's a pervert. He's wrong. He's wrong for responding as a man because this female takes her clothes off. There was a time where, because in the beginning, it looked good to men. They want to see that. But after a while, it gets old. It gets old, man. It's like it all looks alike. It all looks the same. There's no mystery behind it anymore. There's a time like where women look sexy with their clothes on and it's left up to the man's imagination. But there's no imagination now because it's taken away. All you see is naked females. And what man, or what real man, since y'all want to talk real and fake men, what real man would marry or want to marry or even produce children with a female that takes her clothes off that easy and display her naked body to the world? What man would want a woman like that? I wouldn't. The only thing those women are good for is sex, because that's what they're displaying. And many of them take their clothes off because that's their form of prostitution today. But they have a right to do that because it's their body. They fought for the right to just take their clothes off and nothing happens to them. There was a law one time, and it's probably still in effect, but it's not, really enforced, about streaking or indecent, what do they call it? Being indecent, or just something to that effect. You can get a ticket for being an indecent exposure. But nowadays, females feel they can just take their top off and it's okay. And they always use, well, men do it. Men walk around with no shirt on. Men don't have breasts. So now these females freely take their clothes off, and they think that they get older and they call themselves maturing. And now this man is supposed to forget about the fact that you were all on the internet and everybody know what you got. Everybody know where your tattoos are. They know where your birthmark is, because you're not just showing off your figure, you opening your legs. So what real man will want that? What real man will want to marry something like that? I wouldn't. To me, it's a turnoff. That female in Atlanta that accused that man of raping her in the club full of people, nobody saw it, right? I went on her page and she's like twerking half naked, and she had no underwear on. She had no underwear on, twerking up on a stage. And then she cried that somebody raped her. And then people jumped on the bandwagon and supported her. Didn't wait to hear the side of the dude's story. Now, I do give props to a lot of women out there that saw right through that. And this girl had no underwear on, and she's rubbing against this dude's this dude's private part. She's like rubbing herself against him and expect him not to respond. But you have a lot of clown dudes like the one that made that comment about protecting a predator. You know, you got fools like that making comments like that. So it's okay for all of these females now to sex with R. Kelly, right? Because he's an entertainer. So now they all want to either get pregnant by him or they just want to be in his company because he's buying all the drinks. They're expecting something out of it. Now, years later, all of these females, now keep in mind, none of it was reported, but all of these females now coming back now saying, oh, he molested me, this is what he did to me. But you didn't report it, right? So it's just sad. It's a sad day we're living in. And like I said, these females taking their clothes off, man, and nobody's talking about that. It's okay because they're women and it's their body and they do what they want with their bodies. But what if a man does that? What if a man just takes his clothes off, man, just let his stuff just hang out? Oh, he would be called all kind of names, man. He's a pervert. There's little kids. Now you're concerned about the children. But you weren't concerned about your kids when they were being molested by your living boyfriend. Or by your brother, the uncle. So, feedback, tell me what you think. It's a sad world that we're living in. And it's sad that, you know, you can't trust, like, you know what? I don't even know what to say with that, man, because it's like females nowadays, man, you can't trust them. It's like playing Russian roulette. It's like putting a round in the chamber and just, you know, a revolver, spin the revolver and then take a chance on, you know, squeezing the trigger. You never know when that round is coming out. So that's how it is dealing with today's females, especially black females. So I guess this is a warning to all real men. Just be careful, man, of these chicks, man. You lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. So feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe, financially support the channel. Until next time, I'm just thinking out loud.